This is the 21st season of Bass Talk Live. BTL is presented by Bass Cat Boats, Strike King Lures, Aftco, Pro Guide Batteries, Spro, Gamakatsu, The Bass Tank, Denali Rods, Beatdown Outdoors, and Sunline.
BTL coming at you.
Good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where we are going to talk about bass fishing. I'm back in studio. It seems like for a regularly scheduled show for the first time in 2 or 3 weeks. We had Mexico, and then we had the frog hunt, and then I went up to the Ely, Minnesota area for my buddy Adam Bartuzek, who does the Crappie Chronicles. Also fished that Dick Hiley St. Jude Classic, where just our team alone raised $48,000 this year. A lot of that was in part to BTL listeners and viewers with the t-shirt and the auction items and things. So anyway, at his bachelor party up there, did something pretty cool. It was at this little lake, and these are all like Minnesota guys. I was the only guy who like traveled, and we caught enough rusty crayfish with our hands in traps to do a northern Minnesota crawfish boil. You could like shine your light into this lake and you wouldn't see any during the day. And at night, you could literally pick up handfuls of giant rusty crayfish, which are like an invasive species. So Pinkala, who's the cook of the group that was there, he actually ended up cooking them up and got to eat them by himself because we were just there for 2 nights. But we filled up half of a 5-gallon bucket with rusty crayfish from Minnesota. I wasn't planning on doing this. I saw they reacted to it, though. The Elite Series is on Tenkiller this week. There's only 3 Elite Series anglers from Tenkiller, or from Oklahoma, and I've got 2 of them on. You can guess which one it isn't, because there ain't no way in hell I'm calling Jason Christy at 8 in the morning the day before Elite Series tournament on Tenkiller. But Blake Capps and Luke Palmer are good sports. Not that Jason isn't. Like I said, I'm not barking up that tree, if you know what I mean, fellas, but thanks for jumping off BTL on a rare off day prior to the start of the Elite Series on Tenkiller.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us on.
Oh, yeah. First of all, the decor behind you. Let's go back full screen on this. This does not look like VRBO decor. This looks like I'm here for some high quality English tea, but also to kill stuff.
Yeah.
Is that a fair assessment of the style?
That's the style.
Where are you two located right now?
No, we're in Muskogee. I'm at my parents' house.
All right.
So we're like about 35 minutes from takeoff. Well, they moved it back to Chicken Creek, so I don't know if you knew that. It was at Cherokee.
I did not.
Yeah, so we're back at Chicken Creek, so that's a little bit longer, but still 45-50 minutes.
He's still at home.
Yeah, still at home.
He's still getting to sleep in his own bed at night. So
yeah.
He's not.
Well, it's always it's got to be nice to stay at, not be at a VRBO and still be at someone's house. I mean, you're an old hat at this, Luke. You've been traveling around the country for years and years now, so it still has to feel a little bit like home.
Which me and Aaron were actually going to go get. I have a Airbnb a little bit closer. We got for the rest of the week, just in case family was going to come up and stuff like that. But so me and Aaron will go hang out there this afternoon whenever we can check into it. So
I brought you guys in. I was talking about Bart's bachelor party and collecting those rusty crayfish. He said they tasted just like normal crayfish. Now they got like a little bit smaller tail on them, but like I think you're allowed like 5 pounds a piece or something like that you can harvest legally. But like that would be like going to Tenkiller at night, collecting all the crayfish, then boiling them up. Like he did the whole thing. Like I was really upset that I missed it, but it was crazy how many crayfish you could collect just like with your hands. Like they're pretty dumb. Have you ever done that in Oklahoma? Either of you like actually like caught them and then boiled them?
Looked at them and stuff, but no, I've never went out to get a bucket full of them.
No, heck, I remember like growing up, like I lived in town till I was 8, I guess. And I'd go over to my grandpa's and grandma's house, and we would take bacon and go out in the ditches and put it on a string and stick it down in there and pull them out and stuff like that. But That's my extent of
like the mud mounds, and there would be a hole there, and you'd have like a little stick that you'd tie it to, and you'd leave it, and then you'd come back and always check it, and you'd try to dude, I did the same thing. You try to get the crayfish to come out, and sometimes they'd like let go of it right at the mouth, and you'd have to like stick your hand down there and grab them.
Yeah, the good old days.
All right, we'll start with the rookie, then we'll get to the veteran. Up and down rookie year, but I remember when you made the Elite Series on Grand Lake in Oklahoma via the Bass Nation Championship. One of the event that was circled on the calendar for you was Lake Tenkiller, and how excited you were that you had qualified in a year where the Elite Series was going to, what I consider one of your home ponds.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely is. I would, more or less consider that my home pond. But, I'm kind of closer now that we're here, kind of figuring out, the home lake can also be a pain in the butt too. Just these conditions that we have, it's man, I'm still extremely excited for this, but man, it's different fishing this week than what we've seen in a long time out here.
Talk a little bit about that, Luke. Like, I've seen posts of guys you put in who had logs rolling down it. It's been way up, then it's been way down. It was way back yesterday. It was 5.96 feet high. They were rolling 11.1K through it. If you looked at the deep dive app, you could see just a variety of chocolate, milk, all the way to clear. What are we working with out there, and how much can it change from your off day to day until Sunday when someone lifts a trophy?
Oh, it's going to be a lot of different. I've talked several times of, I fished back in here. The first time I ever fished here, it was 4 foot in the bushes and on a Wednesday, and by tournament day on Saturday, it was out of the bushes. They can drop this thing in a hurry, and they're dropping her pretty good now. If it wasn't for Arkansas River being flooded out and every lake around here being flooded, I would almost expect that they would have it out completely out of the bushes by the weekend.
So that's like what, over a foot a day?
Yeah. Oh, they can hammer this place in a hurry. But it's around Sizemore from there up the river. It's you had better be paying attention big time. Like, as high as everything's been this year, I thought it would have flushed all the debris down, but there is debris.
There's Tenkiller. It's not a huge lake. We'll get to that a little bit later. And obviously, guys, we're not going into the details, what the bite is. It would be dumb to ask them that because the tournament starts tomorrow. I don't even know why. But so Sizemore is what, around there, Luke?
Yeah.
Right around there. So that basically takes what, a third of the lake out of play on a lake that's already 12,900 acres. I would venture to say full field Elite Series, and I'll be there. I'll be at the Elite Series event tomorrow afternoon. And I'll ask this question. It's got to be the smallest full field venue that the Elite Series has ever competed on. Have you fished on anything even remotely close to small? I know, like, you can take Lake Jordan, depending on where you are in Alabama, but that was like an all-star event or a postseason event, full field, 98 guys.
Yeah, it's going to be tight. When we fished here in 19, there was 75 of us. Yep. And it felt like everywhere you rolled around, there was a boat. And you put another 26 or 7 guys out here, it's tight. I mean, you got, just like you'd roll around a point. We talked to Will Davis yesterday morning. We unloaded, and he was like, man, you pull up to an area, you get a bite, and you're like, hey, this is kind of off the wall. And you roll back by 30 minutes later, and there's 3 boats going, fishing. So it's just it's a ring around the rosy deal. Yeah. I mean, that's just part of it, and Hummingbird has got this lake mapped to a T. I mean, it's the secrets are very few and far between now. I mean, it's one of those deals you could get very frustrated knowing this lake, like Jason does or Blake does, how well they know this lake, and you roll up and you're like, how in the heck did these guys find this stuff in 10 hours? Yeah. And I mean, they found brush piles at that shouldn't be found at all. I mean, so it's a very frustrating place to fish when it's that small. But the only good thing that has happened is the water has come up. I mean, it's in the bushes enough that you can fish bushes. You can still catch them out deep. You can catch them floating. You can do a little bit of everything right now instead of it being completely out, where it's just nothing but offshore deal.
Yeah.
Because if that was the case, it would be really small.
Yeah.
But, like you said, the river being chocolate, once
dirty,
you go past the bridge, it's dirty. And, and being 5.5, 6 foot high, those flats up there, it puts water, to fish you can't even find, in a tournament day. So it's I don't know. It's interesting. It's going to be a very interesting event as far as.
I'm interested in your take on this. So there's Saturday jackpots, there's Sunday jackpots on Tenkiller. I know the same adage is like it's hard to win the Sunday jackpot after 30 guys go out and mess with them on Saturday.
Yeah.
You've been out there 3 days now. You know what local pressure, and there's a lot of good guys that fish those Tenkiller jackpots all year round. How comparable is Elite Series pressure with a third of the field never been there, the rest of the field never been there without forward-facing sonar compared to what the locals do to this place every weekend? Or is it kind of mirror what Luke just said, where it's like, they found that? You got to be kidding me.
No, I definitely follow Luke on that. Like, it's insane seeing some of these guys where they're fishing and stuff. And these guys are just so good. They'll find anything and everything, and they'll take a place that's not that good, and they'll make it look great too. But like I said, I'm very happy the water did come up. It's going to spread us out, and I'm excited to watch live here in a couple of days anyways, just because
you don't want to do that.
Wait a second. Dude, Luke, you're rooming with Blake. You got to have this talk with him.
Once everything's over, I'm ready to, because it's interesting where you're just seeing guys practice. I'm seeing them in a place that I've never even fished at on Tenkiller, and heck, I'm like, man, are you actually catching fish doing that? It's kind of
he's talking
your
about
ownership is going to plummet after this interview, Blake. Your fantasy fishing ownership is plummeting. You're not giving us much confidence for the weekend.
I meant after the tournament.
Okay.
I meant
has there, and this is a question for both of you. You guys are both what I would consider old school Okies. Like, if it's up in the bushes, has there ever been a time in June on any lake in Oklahoma when it comes up and stays up that bass don't get caught out of the bushes?
Not that I know of.
No, this is the, back, I was thinking about this the other day. You remember watching the old elites and stuff like that? They would go fish places that they would fish bushes. Mm-hmm. They'd be in Alabama on the Alabama River or something like that, and they would be flipping bushes. I have fished one Elite Series tournament, and it was a classic that it was in the bushes.
Really?
That it was a legit bushes deal. Whenever we were down at they just had it there. Easton won that.
Bassmaster Classic?
Yeah, the
Ray
classic,
Roberts.
On Ray Roberts?
Yeah, Ray Roberts. Couldn't even think of it. But that was because we had it there in, was it June that year?
COVID, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, COVID year.
Yep.
And it was in the bushes.
Yeah.
And
I do remember that. You guys slacklined some big ones out of those bushes.
So I can't really think of
Hank Cherry won that one.
Yes. I can't think of the last time that I got to fish bushes. I really get to fish them, in an Elite Series deal. It doesn't seem like we've, everywhere we go, it's either low or we don't. We're fishing cypress trees, actually hard cover that is in the water all the time. And so it's going to be neat to finally get to do some of that.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to win, but it's hard. It's hard to sit back there and look down the bank and go, there's miles of bushes down through here. And that's all I want to do is pick up a flipping stick and go.
Matt, how cool is it going to be watching live this week and see guys flipping smallmouth out of bushes?
Yeah. So if you guys don't know, Tenkiller has a very healthy population of all three species of fish. It's really cool. You can catch a 4-pound smallmouth, a 3-pound spot, and a 5-pound largemouth.
Yeah.
Where in the hell do you catch those at?
Well, I've heard of it.
I'm just saying, in theory, they all swim. Yeah. They all swim in there. It's very similar to, except I would venture to say maybe even a little bit bigger, Table Rock. It's like a miniature Table Rock kind of type vibe. If you've never been there, a little bit more color, a little bit different on it. But what are your guys' thoughts? Are all three species going to play this week big time? Are you going to see guys, hold up all three species on stage? And is there a chance that the guy who wins this weighs in spots smallmouth and largemouth over 4 days?
Absolutely. I think with the water, I don't think they're going to shut the generation off any. I think it's going to keep falling. And so I think you're going to have to change up throughout the week. I think Thursday, Friday, you may be fine, but if you make Saturday, Sunday, I don't think you're going to be able. That's just me. And I think you're going to start seeing those mixed bags come in. And another thing they're doing different, Matt, you may not know, it's 12-inch link limit this week too. So,
really? It's usually a 16 on Tenkiller, is it not?
Then we got the exemption for 14, but now they're saying it's 12 inches. So I don't. That changes things as well too.
Is it? I mean, you guys have been out there. Is that going to make it a difference? Like, is a 13-inch spotted bass going to make a difference in this thing? Is it fishing a little stingy?
It's fishing stingy. Yeah.
It's probably about the toughest I've seen to get bites here.
Yeah.
Really?
Just to catch fish.
Yeah.
I remember coming here. I mean, I haven't been here since 19, but prior to that, when I would come here, you would catch 40, 50, 60 fish a day. They might be 6 inches long, up to 10 or 12. You caught a bunch of little fish, and I bet I haven't caught 6 little fish all week, like little ones.
So Luke's just catches straight big ones. That's what I heard. That's what I heard in that interview right there.
If you call big ones are like 13.5 to 14.5 inches, I've caught a few of those. But
yeah.
It has been stingier. I was expecting to
100%.
Just piss pound them, honestly. That's what I thought was going to happen.
They still live here, don't they?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's like, I think truthfully a 3-pounder is going to be gold this week. It's fishing that stingy. So they still live in here in the lakes. We got to practice on the rising water. Now it's coming down. We're getting an off day. So I'm excited to get out there. And then this weekend, there was a tournament Saturday, and there was 2 tournaments Saturday. And then we had to start practice on Sunday since we have an off day. So then there was 100 of us and then another tournament going on. And so this 1 day of rest is actually pretty needed, I feel like.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys getting up. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about Oklahoma angling at the top level. I did the Open Pros Pick'em show with Todd Castledine, Andrew Upshaw, and Ish yesterday, and they pointed out, man, there's only 3 Okies on the Elite Series. And you look back at the rich history of Oklahoma anglers, I realize there's a contingent on the BPT, but that kind of shocked me. So we'll talk a little bit about top level tournament fishing in Oklahoma when we come back. It's BTL back in studio live June 11th. Elite Series. Well, we got 2 champions. We have Elite Series champion Luke Palmer and Bass Nation champion Blake Capps, who actually got the job done in Oklahoma. So we'll be back with a little bit more right after that. Probass Adventures is reinventing Mexico bass fishing. With boats equipped with 12-inch Garmin units and LiveScope Plus, free loaner fishing rods, and no-cost airport transportation, Probass Adventures is proudly putting you in the best position for success. Probass Adventures has lodges on Lake Baccarat and Lake El Salto, Mexico's 2 best trophy largemouth bass lakes. Visit probassadventures.com or email probassadventures@gmail.com. The official Mexico fishing lodge of Bass Talk Live.
The new Puma STS has been redesigned from the ground up. With the angler, design, function, and performance in mind, nothing on this new offering was compromised, and the only thing carried over from the previous version is the name. Based on the Soft Touch series hull that started with the flagship Jaguar, this new model is nimble and performs incredibly well at all speeds with either a 250 or 300 horsepower engine. Featuring a new 96-inch wide-body footprint, this hull measures out at 20 foot 7 inches in length. Industry-leading design coupled with tournament-winning performance. The Puma STS from Basscat. Feel the rush.
This is Gamakatsu's new Nano Alpha line of hooks. If it looks familiar, that's because they are. It's the same shapes and sizes in the round bend and the EWG and in the new Horizon head that you know and love from Gamakatsu, but there are a couple new features with this Nano Alpha, which is this little green label that you see on the packaging. First off, 2 times faster hook penetration. That's because of the Nano Alpha smooth coating on it, and also it is 4 times more corrosion resistant. Check it out, Nano Alpha.
I've been using Sunline Shooter for the majority of my career. Millions of dollars made, lots of bass caught, and the gnarly, gnarly stuff. If you need a abrasion resistant, tough fishing line for the really, really mean stuff, Sunline Shooter is for you.
Welcome back. Luke Palmer, Blake Caps, a couple of the 3 Oklahoma anglers, and it's all. I always think it's weird when I'm going to say that it's weird, and then I'm going to ask it. I always think it's weird when you're like, "How do you think so and so is going to do?" or "What are your thoughts on this?" and it's a fellow angler. Well, I mean, if you're an Elite Series pro, you're one of the top 100 in the world. You're like, "Well, I'm going to beat him," except for maybe Blake, who plans on watching the tournament on the weekend. But it's a little bit different animal with Jason Christy on Tenkiller, and I feel like the general viewing public does not understand Jason Christy and Tenkiller's relationship. Do either of you care to agree, or am I making too much out of how good Jason Christy is on Tenkiller?
Jason's good wherever you put him at, but Tenkiller, especially living there and growing up there, yeah, he's going to be a handful.
I'll never forget whenever we had the 19, the split happened, and then then we come to Tenkiller that fall, and I seen him. Like we filmed some stuff together, and he was just disgusted. You know, then especially being in the fall, you know, I think it's September we fished it, and the knowledge that he had before, forward facing, he would have
absolutely
really done well.
Yeah.
You know, it's really done well. But now he's, like Blake said, he's a hammer anywhere he goes. But this pond here is where he kind of cut his teeth on a lot of stuff. Yeah. You know, the history here is nuts, probably.
Yeah.
I know I talked to Gussie yesterday, and I was talking about Jason's house. He said, dude, he said, it's awesome. He said, beautiful place. And he said his shop is what's awesome. That's what you mean. He said, well, he said, when you walk in there, he said, I thought I was a basser until you walk into there. And he said, there's just plaques everywhere of him just, you know, beating the brakes off of everybody.
Yeah, it's mostly on. I was telling some of the stories, you know, like, you know, when he'd launch his boat and 5 boats would just trailer up and go home, which is why he never launches. I mean, they thought I was joking, exaggerating. Like, I'm not really exaggerating on that. Like, guys would just be like, well, you know, guess we're watching the game today instead of fishing against Jason. Like, I mean, there's stories of him throwing 19 pounds back because he was embarrassed to weigh in less than 20, even though it took only like 15 to win the tournament.
Yeah.
So
I've heard stories like that.
Yeah. I will you vouch for me on, isn't there some crazy urban legend stuff with Jason out here?
Oh yeah. I've seen him win a jackpot and then hand the money right back. Just you know, this is like,
thanks for playing, boys.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Someone posted on,
I'm still the man.
Someone posted in one of the comments yesterday. It said Jason Christy flirted with Danger and Danger got clingy. But talk about what it means. Like, you're 3/4 of the way through your Elite Series rookie season. You're a bass head. You've tournament fished. Your family has tournament fished. I've seen your mom and dad, your family on the road at the Classic throughout the year, some too. Talk about what the first year has been like and what it's going to be like stepping up on stage representing the home state on Tenkiller this weekend.
Oh yeah, this whole year has just been just a complete dream come true. It's anything and everything I imagined times 10. It's been incredible. The people I've met and fished these lakes that I've never seen. It's been just like I said, just a dream come true. It's been awesome. Now that we're getting to fish on my home lake and going to have a live camera with me tomorrow. That's,
you are?
Yeah. So
Me too.
Yeah,
Me too.
Both of you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you guys gonna have family out on the water and follow boats then, like your dad?
I don't
and
know
stuff?
about tomorrow. I know I'm gonna have some followers, but I think Friday, I may have some more coming out. But yeah, I mean, your rookie season, then you get to fish on your home lake that you grew up on. It don't even sound right because I mean, before I ever made it, I would have never thought the Bassmasters would come fish Tenkiller for an Elite Series event. And so, nonetheless, be my rookie season. So
It kind of sounds like Luke may still feel that way.
Pretty much.
yeah,
So,
I'm excited. It's my first time to have a live camera with me this year, so I don't know. Hopefully, that doesn't spin me out too bad.
No,
I'm sure Luke will give him some tips. You've had a live camera with you a lot over the last couple of years.
It's just I don't know. When I had one my rookie year at the Cooper River, and which I was so tired by the time we got to where I was going because I was running 121 way, and I was, you just get up and fish. It's just like having our camera guys, or most of them have always been phenomenal, if not all of them. They, they'll sit back there and kind of BS with you a little bit. If they can tell you're kind of getting down, they'll kind of pump you up a little bit. And just to, they want you to have a good time. And the better you're doing, or, at least talking and stuff like that, the easier their job is. They don't have to sit back there and just plop down and be like, yeah, this is fun, But all of the ones I've had have been great, and it's kind of nice to have someone to sit back there and talk to because you've been sitting in a boat for 3 days by yourself.
Yeah.
And, it is good to have somebody to talk to. It kind of keeps you going. But
would be remiss if we were on Tenkiller and we didn't mention Jimmy Houston. Jimmy Houston, the Tenkiller OG. Right there. He's still got he's still got the storage unit and tackle store right there. Is that still Jimmy Houston's
gas station? Yeah.
Do either of you have any good Jimmy Houston stories?
I don't. I've spent a lot of time and money at Jimmy Houston's store though.
Yeah. They carry the right stuff there.
There's some really good fishermen who go in there because I have booths and stuff in Jimmy Houston's who've never been in there. You can get breakfast and coffee. There's a lot of good fishermen that will go and just hang out in there. So
yeah,
time I like to stop in just to BS with all those guys.
I think I went in there I think we had an ABA here back it was forever ago. Me and your dad were talking about he come in third or fourth in it, I think. But I remember going in there and just walking through the store, and I found some old school Smithwick Rogues.
Yeah.
Like the packaging was like brown. They had been in there so long. You talk about snatching that stuff up in a heartbeat. It was the old school ones. And so I had to grab a few of them, but hell, that's been, it feels like it was 5 years ago, but I think it was more like 15 to 20 years ago for me now. But back in the day.
He used to carry the Hildebrand blades, and I took many trips over there just to get the Hildebrand blade spinnerbait, and it's kind of cool.
I wonder if that's where Jason learned about the Hildebrand blades, because he puts them on that covert, doesn't he?
Yep, that's what's on the coverts.
Yeah, the Hildebrand blade, that was a big thing. But you had the War Eagle spinnerbait; those blades were always good on that spinnerbait. Mm-hmm. But then anything else, I had to have a Hildebrand.
Yeah,
it used to be a number 5 willow. If you didn't have that on, I couldn't catch fish. And but now,
can we see a bass caught on a spinnerbait this week in Oklahoma in a flooded bush?
There's going to be a few caught, I think. There's got to be. You can't just not throw it, I don't think. I'm sure Jason will have one tied on. You know what? Jason will probably have 4 spinning rods out and 2 Carolina rigs. He'll never see the bank one single time.
He'll be live scoping out in the middle, and everyone will be like, I quit.
That was the day that it all ends right there.
I told you guys half hour, right at 30 minutes. I greatly appreciate it. I want to ask you each a question. Almost everybody who's watching this or is going to watch this replay here will be watching you guys live tomorrow with the cameras. We'll start with you, Blake, and then we'll go with you, Luke. While we're watching you live, what is one sign, at 10 a.m. for both of you? What's a sign that either things are going good or hold on, this thing's going to turn into a goat rope? What should we be looking for? Like, what are some signs? What are some clues? Obviously, if you're catching bass, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be a run out, catch 23 and hang out by Chicken Creek for the rest of the day type of deal.
Yeah. If we don't have enough changing conditions, now that the lake's falling, they're saying that it's going to be raining all day tomorrow. And so that's going to be another thing that we have yet to see. We've been melting in practice. It was brutal hot yesterday. No wind. I don't know. It's being a local. There's places that I didn't even pre-fish just because, even if I fished it and didn't get a bite in practice, knowing history, which could be a bad thing, I'm probably going to fish it anyways. I kind of got a little milk run in areas that I plan on staying in. And if it's not happening, I don't plan on doing nothing too crazy because I know it's not a big lake, but I think you could get in a very bad rotation on this place with the 100 guys fishing such a small area. I think if you was to leave to do a change up, you're probably going to be fishing right behind 5 other guys. So that's kind of my thought on it. I kind of got a game plan. I'm just going to try to stick to that game plan and hopefully I don't mess up too bad.
Luke.
Well, I normally don't catch a fish till about 10:30 or 11. So that's about normal for me. Literally, I don't think I've ever just pulled up and smashed them right off the bat. Even when I won at Santee that year, I didn't have a fish until 8:30 or 9 o'clock. I was about stroked out because I was like, oh, good job. You just blew this whole thing, But I don't know. I've had a better afternoon bite. It's like there's a flurry right in the morning. You have about 30 minutes in the morning when you can catch a few fish, and then it just really kind of slowly dies off. And then it's again in the evening, they bite again. So I don't know. There's really not going to be no rhyme or reason for me because, like I said, I don't catch them till 11 o'clock anyway. So if I haven't broke anything or if I've got extremely quiet by noon, I would probably start worrying because, we only got till 2:30 then. And but what's good here is you can run as far any which way you want to, and you can still be back to Chicken Creek in 6 minutes. So that is amazing.
Luke just not a fan of the size of the fishery this week.
I'm used to running. I normally just take off it's one by the bank, but my butt decides to run as far as I can, right beside the ramp. But I run as far as I can away.
No, that's fair. I do want to remind everybody you can watch all of the goings-ons, the happenings of what goes down at Tenkiller on Living the Bass Life. Be out in a couple weeks after the event. A lot of cool stuff there if you want to get on and recap it, kind of behind the scenes, a bunch of on the water footage and how it all goes down on YouTube. So you seem to really kind of enjoy doing that.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We've started doing our, we kind of do a tourney talk on Thursday evenings and stuff around 6 or 7 o'clock. We do a live feed on that. Then he kicks it over to our YouTube and everything, but it just kind of breaks it down. We do our tournament recaps and plus, talk about what's upcoming and kind of just what's going on in life, because 10 weeks out of the year we're tournament fishing and, we all have those extra lives too. What's going on with family? Are we getting to fish a little bit when we're home? Mowing the grass, putting up bounces.
I got to do that so bad. You have a 1-year-old yet?
Now he's what's today? He's almost 9 months now. So, and he still doesn't sleep. And he's
really
now he's been a very fun baby. I'll say that. But no,
I feel like he'll be hunting and fishing by the time he's 3.
I could see that. I'm really hoping he's a push mower by then or a really good weed eater. That way I can go ahead and excel.
I would totally hire him. I literally hacked down half of the yard on a 3.5 blade because I was gone and came back for 12 hours and was have to do this before it rains, but I didn't do the backyard. And before the show, I literally was standing like an old man like this with my legs looking at the backyard, just analyzing how I'm going to get through about 3/4 of an acre without totally destroying the mower.
And the neighbors are driving by, staring you down why you hadn't mowed your yard.
Where I'm kind of out in the country. So I got one more question. Blake, have you had the pleasure, the honor of driving through Colgate and pulling over on the side of the road and taking your picture next to the home of Luke Palmer sign that is legitimately 10 by 10 in block bold lettering when you enter the city limits.
I try my best to stay out of Colgate. I won't lie to you. So, I have not seen it.
I feel like that should be part of a bass fishing scavenger hunt, like across the country. I've always had an idea of like, hey, there's like 50 things, and you've got 2 weeks to find and take a picture with these 50 things, whether it's a catch or a location or an item or something. I always thought the Colgate home of Luke Palmer would be a great item on that scavenger hunt. Has anyone tried to like cut that down and put it in their house or anything yet? Like, is that like a high theft item in Colgate?
I think they drive by and hit it with beer bottles every now and then. It might be it. We use it for target practice, but no, they're still standing up out there. They ain't took them down yet. I'm ready for them to have to put classic champion or 2-time Bassmaster champion. That'd be pretty sweet. Go ahead and start
like a tiny, minuscule, small Lake Tenkiller.
That'd be fine. Hey, we could have it on Colgate Lake for all I care, as long as I can get a trophy. And one thing about it, it pays just as much to win this one as it does when we go to Champlain or wherever, so it doesn't matter where we go. We still got to catch them, and trying to beat Jason on his home pond is going to be real interesting.
I lied. One more quick question. Blake, what's one thing you've learned about hanging out and rooming with Luke about being an established Elite Series pro this year?
Oh, it's been cool. We have a fun time though. Yeah. So
one thing you learned, like one thing where you were like, dude, he has taught me X that I did not expect. Absolutely. Yeah, there's got to be something. I mean, you can't room with a guy who's been out there and not learn something.
No, he's definitely told me, kind of taught me how you can burn a bunch of gas in these places and go. I don't know. There's been a bunch of stuff that I've learned just from watching Luke and traveling with him and stuff, and it's been a lot of fun. We've had a lot of fun this year, and I mean, there are so many lakes that I haven't seen and known, not even think about, and he's kind of helped me out in a lot of stuff that I would have never even didn't know that I didn't know that, if that makes any sense. I'm just trying to think of a good example though.
He's got more tackle than I've ever thought about having. I can promise.
Oh, really? I didn't take you as a tackle junkie.
He has got more crap than anybody I've ever
Frank
seen.
Scalish says it about 9 times a show. I stopped editing it.
I've like, me, I've got some woolly bugs and some spinner baits and some bandit crankbaits. And this kid has got more stuff. Like Tackle Warehouse and Lure Net probably get, like, they just have him on speed dial whenever he's going to a tournament, because he's going to have a heck of a freaking lot of stuff sent. And I'm still got my black and blue and my green pumpkin purple, and I'm out here just piddling around doing my stuff. And he's got stuff that I didn't even know existed.
I wish I could. I wish we could return some of that stuff.
Those boxes where you go through and all of a sudden you're like, what's in this bag? And you totally forgotten it's like from the tournament 3.5 years ago where you spent like $380 on this deal, and you open it up and you're like, my God, this is all good stuff. And I don't ever remember seeing it. And then you find the box where it's just that package, that box from every tournament. And then you start thinking back like, God, I remember when I thought I was going to smash them on this. And then you anytime, the more tackle you buy, the more you're convinced. I'm convinced like it's the kiss of death. When you start sending stuff to the house, you're like, I gotta have this to the house.
Or you're down to like, you only have one or two spinner baits of a certain color, and you're just absolutely smashing. Well, I better order me 5 of those. And you might as well just cut it off and put it in the bottom of the boat, because you're not going to catch a fish off that in the tournament. It's over.
Vice versa, then we'll close it out. One thing that the rookie has taught you, Luke, as a jaded, grizzled Elite Series veteran.
To go back and have fun. He's had a blast this year. Like, he is like a kid in a candy store everywhere we go. Like, he loves to fish. And, you kind of can get into a rut of fishing. I've been on the road now 7 or 8, 9 years, really, because to make the elites. And you can get stagnant, and it's very easy. And he's made it fun again. We talked to Mark Menendez and Tim Doobie and Will Davis and Bernie Schultz. We all had dinner together last night at a buddy's house here, and just sitting around and BSing and it really takes that pressure and time away, because it's easy to get down, when you're on the road. You're gone all the time, you're missing stuff, you're not seeing your parents, just everything happens really fast. So it is nice to have something to slow down and go back to enjoying what we enjoyed our whole lives.
Yeah.
Fishing was a pastime. It was something fun to go do with my dad and stuff like that. And when you get to fishing tournaments and, trying to supply a family and support it and everything like that, it can really get you stressed down big time, especially things don't go right. You have a bad couple of tournaments, it makes a difference, so having someone that's still positive and, hell, he's just as happy if I catch him, and I'm just happy as when he catches them, so it's good to have that on the road and, have somebody talk to about fishing, what's going on at the lake. It's nice because, I've pretty much done it I've kind of pretty well kind of been on my own and stuff on the elites, and having someone to kind of shoot some ideas across every now and then sure is nice.
Well stated, guys.
We all catch them this week on live too.
What's that?
Hopefully we all catch them on live this week too. Make Oklahoma look, represent Oklahoma well too.
Yeah, well, like I said, out of the three, all three of you represent Oklahoma incredible on the Elite Series. You got a lot of Okies. I'm a transplant. I've been here since 2005, so I'm 20 years in, so I feel like I can call myself an Okie. Can I call myself an Okie after 20 years?
I think it's 25. That's bare minimum.
It is 25. I just know for the first 10 years, everywhere I'd go, you guys would go, "Oh, the Yankees here." You're like, guys, from Central Illinois. I'm like, not a Yankee, but a lot of Oklahoma pride there. Tenkiller, regardless of the size, it is a great fishery. It will show out. I have no doubt that the fans, incredibly educated fan base that follows professional bass fishing and supports its anglers in Oklahoma. And I know the weather's going to suck, but I bet you there'll still be a lot of good old Oklahoma guys and gals that are standing out there cheering for you guys in all the Elite Series and really showing support for the Elite Series returning to Tenkiller.
Yep.
All right. We'll let you go when we come back. I talked about it in the past, and one of the cool things that's going on right now is Josh and the guys down at Probass Adventures are having a Bacharach's Best Kings of Bacharach tournament. Best I can determine, it's 2 fish per day for 3 days. And there's 20 some teams. I've got an insight on some of the weights that these fish are. Well, I'll just tease it before we go to break. So one guy so far in the 2 days has caught a 12, 2, and 11, 11, and 4 double digits, and his best 4. Today's the final day. They weigh in 2 more, so it'll be 6 bass. So far, his best 4 over the 2 days are 45 pounds, 3 ounces. So we'll dive into some of those astronomical weights. It's BTL on a Wednesday on the eve of the Elite Series on Tenkiller. We will be back right after this.
Your early morning mentality is your every hour mentality. All gas, no brakes. Focus, purpose, power. Destined for the water, but confident everywhere else. A calming buzz before the storm, truth of nature itself. You can't catch lightning in a bottle. There's a limit out there, but it's not with your gear. Unrelenting power delivery. Unparalleled weight savings. Keeping you on the water, whether you run a 9.9 or outscoping your best 5. In this rare air, there's power in the silence. It's a mindset, thinking only of the things that matter and freeing your mind from the things that you trust.
In 2023, we became a household name in the crappie fishing world thanks to Power Breaks, the game changer. Hey, bass fishing world, buckle up, because you're next. It's going to be fun. Welcome to the next evolution of our product line, Power Breaks Sidekick. designed to install right on your shallow water acres. We are the first and only fishing brake company to offer a breakaway system. Just like with the Game Changer, the Power Brake Sidekick has it as well. And it's not a matter of if you're going to need it, it's when. Power Brakes, the most durable fishing brakes available on the market today. Made right here in the USA with our rock-solid 2-year warranty. Hey, not all fishing brakes are built equally, and you owe it to yourself to find out why ours are different. Power Brake Sidekick. Order yours today at mypowerbrakes.com. You'll be glad you did.
All right, welcome back. Wrapping things up here on BTL. All right, so Josh, Probass Adventures, Lake Bacharach, El Salto. Still doing a trip in December there. I think we have like 6 or 7 spots over for that. But one of the things he talked about last year was he they've got they put scope on all the boats. He really like outfits the boats like have never been outfitted before in Mexico. They've been doing a lot of work down at the Bacharach Lodge. I think I've never been down there yet. He's invited me to go down. It hasn't worked. I want to take a trip down there as well too. But I think LVS 34s, Ultrex trolling motors. And he's got a group down there right now. And so back in December, he's talking about this idea of doing a Kings of Bass or Bacharach's King of Bacharach, not Kings of Bass. That's Strike King's badass series. King of Bacharach, like the series where you go down and you weigh your best fish. So it's going on right now. It might be 3 fish. Don't quote me on the format. That's insignificant compared to these weights. It's 3 days. I know it's a minimum of 3, but like, the first day, 6 double digits, 6 over 9 with 3 10s and 3 11s. Then yesterday, 8 double digits, 10 over 9, 4 over 10, 2 over 11, and 2 over 12. Like, this is absolutely insane. Like, this dude had 3 for 30 pounds, 6 ounces, a 12.5, a 9.0, and a 9.1. Here's a 10.6, a 9.1, and a 9.4. There's something special about those big bass. We did a show on it. Just got back from Chichillo down in Mexico. Those fish are something else. So I talked with Josh last week before this went on. He's going to be on to give us more details about that. Would be remiss. Like I said, I was at Omnia fishing yesterday morning, so there was no live show. Congratulations, Jacob Wheeler, on his 9th BPT win. God, he's good. He's hard to beat, especially when he gets dialed in on it. He was one of those guys, there's been some talk about, like, if you make the final or the championship round in that MLF, should you fish? Is it like actually a detriment, even though you go straight to the final round and guarantee yourself a top 10? That's a day you're off the water. Guys could be out there sacking on your stuff. You lose kind of touch with the fit. Now he goes right back out and beats some of the best out there. So congrats to Jacob Wheeler. Now there might be a slight time change tomorrow for day 4 with Frank Scalish, because I will be on Bassmaster Live tomorrow afternoon for the halftime show, lunch show, whatever you want to say. I will be at Chicken Creek, which is where they had to relocate it because of the debris and the high water. So just turn your notifications on Bass Talk Live. Follow BTL on YouTube. We'll see if Frank is a man of routine. So if I can get him to do it a little bit earlier, that would allow me to get up to Tenkiller in time to do that halftime show. So I guess I'll have to do some finagling there. But really appreciate Blake Caps, Luke Palmer jumping on BTL this morning. From the living room, from the house, where it's going down in the home state. We will talk to everybody tomorrow with Frank, and then I will see everybody on Bassmaster Live tomorrow from Lake Tenkiller for the Bassmaster Elite Series Day 1 of action. This has been another edition of BTL Bass Talk Live. We'll talk to everybody later. See ya.